So this is the performance head that we're going to be installing on our 1098 Austin Healey Sprite that we have over there, 1098 being the motor size. This is a 1275 head. This is out of a Metro Mini. It's a very common swap to get a bunch more performance out of your 1098, and this is known as the 12G 940. So this is a 12G 940 head, and we're going to be placing it on our stock, well, partly stock 1098 motor that came in our 1963 Austin Healey Sprite. So what I had done, now I purchased this with the vehicle, well, slightly after buying the vehicle. The gentleman had already purchased this and planned on doing it, and then I did a ton of research and found that this is one of the better heads to go with for performance. I decided to purchase this off of him separately, and it's just sat with the vehicle because I didn't want to add this in there until I had all of the parts that I was wanting. And I'm kind of down to the final ones. I'm going to be ordering some performance cams, and what I want to do is disassemble the whole motor, paint the inside of the engine bay, the top end of the motor is what I mean, put everything back in with the performance parts, tune the vehicle, and this is going to be part of the series. So the first thing we're going to be doing on this episode is porting and polishing our intake and exhaust holes. So I'll explain to you exactly what that is. This is new to me. It's not something I've done on a vehicle before, but I've done some research on it. But always fill me in. If I say something wrong or you guys know a better way, let me know in the comments. I'm going based off of my research and talking to other people who have done this for many, many years. So what I've already purchased is this kit here. This is from Harbor Freight. It's a Warrior. Going to allow you to insert into your drill, whether it be a cordless or a corded drill, one of the sandpapers onto the bits that come with the set. It does come with two of these because they're going to have two different extensions that fit in there. Another method is using one of these rotary kit tools or a Dremel. Dremel's a more common brand. This one happens to be from Harbor Freight, and you can buy similar style sandpaper discs like you see in there and go that route. This works just as well from what I understand. We're going to be going this route because this piece here does not fit on our rotary kit. The next thing I had purchased a while back is this headset. So this is basically going to allow us to replace our head gasket and all the other gaskets that will be coming off the valve covers and all of that. And I believe that we're going to have to modify some of the gaskets, not the head gasket, but some of the other gaskets, I believe, once we get there, because like I said, this is a 1275 head, and we're putting it onto our 1098 motor. This is your intake and exhaust gasket here. Now, the strange thing that they have set up on these cars, since it's an inline motor and it's an inline 4, is you've got your intake and exhaust on both sides here, which a lot of common cars, they'll have it in different spots. So they're actually lined up and they're on the same side going right into your head. What you want to do is take your gasket and lay it down, and then we're going to mark capable opening that we could have from the gasket. And what we're going to do then is grind down using these sandpaper discs, slowly opening these up. Now, I think with these intake ones, they're pretty open, so we might just polish these. Now, polishing is the next step. That's taking more of the finer grit sandpaper as opposed to the coarse grit sandpaper that we'll use for grinding, and just smoothing out these insides, because these are very, very rough on the inside, and we're going to be able to get better flow doing that. So that should give us a decent amount of horsepower, maybe 5-10 additional horsepower. And since we already have our head off, that is something you definitely want to do. The other thing about this car is you're going to have, like I have headers. Now, if you had a manifold or headers, that goes on here first when it's on the engine. I'll show you guys that real quick. So guys, now that we've stepped out to the vehicle, you can see here, I was actually wrong. The intake part of the manifold goes on top of the headers. Hopefully you can see that there, where the header goes right into the head, which is down below there. That's the part that we're going to be replacing. And then you've got your gasket and another gasket that goes on top for your intake. So I actually think we have a leak in our intake because I went ahead and used a paper gasket that I made, and I think I cut it incorrectly. So I don't think I have that placed in there properly. So what we're going to do is buy a whole nother gasket set, cut it, and kind of fit it in there so that it fits just like it should. So that's going to be our goal once we get this thing put back together. I just wanted to show you guys on that. I was incorrect, so we might need to open up the intake side of the thing, but I think we're going to be okay just smoothing that one out. So let's go step back over there and finish up grinding this thing off. So what I did is went ahead and taped on the gasket, so then I can go ahead and mark. What I'm going to do is mark the entire area that I need to take off with the black marker. And like I said, we're not going to mark the intakes right here because we're just going to smooth those out. We don't really need to open those up anymore. And you guys can see, we can see our markings. What I'm going to do here, even though this is permanent marker, I think I'm going to go ahead and put tape around the edges so that as I'm grinding, I can see exactly where I am. Okay, I'm going to see how this works out, having the tape around there if necessary. If not, I'll just keep the marked areas. So we'll start with this one. I'll quickly grind through it, and then I'll do the other two off camera, and I'll show you guys the final results with the gasket back on. Make sure you wear a mask, and I'm just going to use this cordless drill for now, see how that works, and I'll go ahead and, sorry about that, I'll go ahead and speed through this for you guys. Started out with the cordless drill and the sandpaper and quickly moved over to the grinding bits you see here. The grinding bits sped things up significantly, and eventually I switched over to a non-cordless drill because charging the battery just took way too much time. So guys, tons and tons of work here. I mean, this is hours of just grinding away, and this is only a 4-cylinder with 3 exhaust ports. So I wanted to let you know these Harbor Freight grinding bits worked out absolutely amazing. I used each different size to get down into these exhaust ports, and I got deep down in there. And you can see this is just the last 5 minutes on this port here of grinding out. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and polish these 2 ports, and we're going to go ahead and polish out your 2 intake ports on this. So one more exhaust port to do. I just wanted to compare for you guys and give you a fill-in. Massive difference in size. You can see now our gasket lines right up, and also make sure you tape it because this black marker just disappeared as soon as I started grinding. Wanted to fill you guys in. Let's get back to work. So I decided to start with taking off the exhaust and intake manifold as well as the carburetor. This way I'd have a lot of room to see what I was looking at. Now that we have almost everything out of the way, let's pull the original head off. Next, I wanted to try to disassemble the original head so I could use all the parts I needed on our new upgraded head. At some point, I knew I was going to come across a part that would give me a lot of trouble, and this part was thermostat housing.
See that bubbling up there? Mm-hmm. That one's probably alright. You can put it probably under it straight up.
Finally, after what felt like forever, we were able to loosen up the studs and get this thermostat housing off.
Yeah, that's UPS. I gotta go.
Yeah. So, it's always good having a neighbor or somebody near you that has a lot of experience in modifying and working on older vehicles like this, because he just gave me a little trick. If you use WD-40 in your ports here, it helps cut faster and also keeps your paper a lot cleaner so you don't go through as much. We're almost done here. I'm going to go ahead and just go through these one more time just to smooth the surfaces completely out, and then we'll be stepping back out to the car and explaining our next step. Excellent news, guys. The head is done, port and polished. We'll be stepping right over the car in a second here to discuss the next steps. And our performance camshaft and lifters came in, so super excited about this. I purchased this on eBay, and according to the listing, it's cut by a guy named John DeLong. Don't know a whole lot about him, but the little bit of research I could do, and from what I understand, he was a chief cutter grinder for a company called Huffaker. And he's well known and respected in the industry, so this should be a very good cam. And the person who listed it messaged me back and forth, was very open to tell me this is a race cam. It's not meant for street driving, daily driving, and this is what I wanted. I want this car to be a super fun car. I will never be daily driving it, and so I'm not too concerned with that. So let's go ahead and step over to the car, and I'll explain how we're going to be installing the head. So originally, my goal was to remove the head, kind of get everything out of here as best I could, and paint this whole area. And now that the camshaft came in, I'm kind of glad, because we have to access down here, which requires us to remove the entire cooling area here, the radiator, all of this stuff, just to get it all out of the way, which is going to give us more access to the engine bay. And originally I was going to go ahead and just paint this whole engine bay a black, probably a gloss black. And I started to grind away a little bit here, thinking I was going to grind this all down and then sand it and paint it. And it's really just a rubber coating they put on here. So before I go and do that, what I want to do is go down and get a softer bristle wheel so I don't mess all the paint up, see if I can get all of this rubberized coating off, or at least most of it, and then maybe we can gloss black paint some of the areas and keep some of it the original red, or the red that was maybe resprayed at some point. This could be original, because this could have been coated a long time ago, and it looks like the engine is an original paint down here too. So I'm going to try to restore as much of that as I can, and then we've got the head, which is already painted silver, but I think I want to respray it because it's gotten scratched up a little bit. And then we're going to go black on the header, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up that paint, and that will allow us to use some of that header paint to paint inside this engine bay as well. So let's get started. We're going to go ahead and start removing some of this stuff, and then on the next episode we'll go ahead and clean everything up, start painting, and that will allow us to reassemble and add our performance cam and possibly get the head back on. So that is the future video. So this video is almost to an end now. I want to go ahead and finish it off by kind of removing some of the stuff from the engine bay and starting the next episode. So let's get started. Well, guys, we're basically on the home stretch of being able to get to our camshaft, which is going to be on the next episode. But I wanted to fill you in before ending this video where we're at, what the plans are, and what the upcoming videos will be. So to break down what we just did, this water pump came off, and this was not necessary to get to the camshaft, but now it frees up space. And as I started doing this, I looked at everything and said, I want to go ahead and restore this, either clean everything down, paint it, whatever looks best and whatever becomes necessary, and I will do a full episode on restoring all those parts for you guys so you can see transformation. So you've got your water pump. Now on top of the water pump was this cap that just hammers off, and screwed to that with bolts is your fan. So that's all come off now and gives us access here, and you can see how nasty this is. So that is why I want to get all this off so we can really start cleaning down everything and getting this engine to last a lot longer. So what the plans are now is going to be the next episode of just cleaning this whole engine bay down and either painting or just restoring the original paint if possible. I showed you guys earlier, I took that wire brush to here and it came off because this is some sort of rubberized coating that was just painted in the inside of the engine bay, and it's disgusting now, so it needs to come off. And a lot of parts might need to be redone, painted, cleaned, whatever's necessary. And we'll be doing all of that on the next episode. And also another future episode's obviously going to be putting the camshaft in, our performance head on, and a possible startup on that one. Now, I'm not sure if I let you guys know yet, but this is the car that my dad had when he met my mom. So his birthday's coming up. I want to get this running by June so that I can take him on a fun ride. He asked me last year if that's a possibility, if I could get it running by his birthday and go for a ride with him. So he is excited about that. He doesn't know that I'm really fully starting on this yet, but I'm excited to be able to do that. So the goal now is to get this thing running after we restore this inner bay. Then we're going to move on to other things and down the road paint and all of that. So just kind of a fill-in of what's coming up on this car. And I really hope you guys are enjoying this series because I am learning a lot. This is such a fun engine to work on. I've never torn an engine down anywhere close to this amount here. So just doing this, learning and knowing that I'm restoring something that I'm gonna have forever is an absolute joy, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as me. Once again, guys, my name's Pete. This is Pete's Carport. Make sure you click on the subscribe button, like the video. It helps out a lot, and you guys have a blessed day, an awesome week, and I'll catch you on the next one.